World Podcast, a podcast about beer and video games. I'm your host, Beau, and with me is just myself tonight. Kelly is on vacation, and I was going to have a guest today, but some complications came up, and that's okay. Shit happens, so I'm going to record myself for the first time. A lot of my friends do this. Chronicles of a Gamer, he does it on Bobby's World Podcast, and some other people do it pretty well. I've never done it myself, so hopefully it turns out good. But if not, you can DM me and tell me how much it sucked. So I am gonna be drinking a beer by myself. I am drinking a Pitz Brewing Company Daddy Fat Sacks. It's an American India Pale Ale. I picked it up for its name, Daddy Fat Sacks. Just try it out. My dog is crawling up my legs right now. This is very entertaining. I hate it, honestly. That's tasty. That's very good. Give me 1 second while I take my dog off my legs. Taste the caramel notes and a little bit of citrus flavors. It's not the best IPA that I've had, but it's good. And the art's cool. It's Daddy Fat Sacks. Pitz. Get it. I'm gonna have to edit out all the times I take sips of beer in this podcast. But that will happen. So, we just celebrated 4th of July here. I smoked meat for the first time. Got this really nice Weber bullet. Absolutely was nervous. Completely, just angst out of my mind to smoke meat because I've never done it before. So I'm watching all these YouTube videos up until July 4th, being like, can I do this? I don't know if I should. Maybe we should just do burgers and hot dogs on the grill. I was telling my wife. She's like, well, just, you bought the smoker, so you might as well use it. So we ended up getting a huge brisket and a pork butt. And my brother-in-law, Adam, Retro Insomniac, he says, dude, that brisket's way too big. That'll take you 15 hours to smoke. And I'm like, I don't got time for this. So I cut it in half. So still probably an 7 pound brisket. And the pork butt was an 8 pound pork butt. Turned out great. I woke up at 5:15 in the morning. Got the smoker started by 5:30. And put the meat on by, I think, 6 a.m. And it came off by 3:30, 4 p.m. And we ate by 4:30. And it was perfect. It turned out so good. So I'm excited to do another smoking here sometime in the near future. Besides that, our last podcast with Mesmeron was amazing. Had great remarks and DMs from all of our listeners, so thank you guys for messaging us about that. I did talk about a PS3 and wanting one, and Kelly found one for me on Facebook Marketplace, and it was cheap. It was Generation 1. It was only $50, and I messaged the guy. I was like, could I get this for $40? He was like, if you meet me right now. So I drove down to the city and met up with him. And he's like, here's the PS3, here's the controller. He's like, just so you know, the controller cord, the charging cord doesn't really work that properly. I'm like, that's fine. I got other ones. It looked a little scratched up, like the PS3 itself. It was in this dirty book bag. I met him at a gas station where I saw 3 drug deals go down, in the matter of 10 minutes that I was sitting in my truck. That's beyond the point. I text Kelly, I'm like, thank you. I just picked it up. Can't wait to, play some PS2 games or PS1 games on this PS3. And I bring it home, and it just smells like cigarettes. And I quit cigarettes a few years ago and vaping, and so that smell really just gets to me. And I'm like, oh, this sucks. So let me clean it up a little. It was very dirty on the outside. Did some isopropyl alcohol and Q-tips and all the vents and stuff. And finally plug it in. And it boots up. And then 5 seconds later, it freezes. I'm like, that's weird. Turn it off. Boot it up again. It does the same thing 3 times in a row. I'm like, okay, let me, I forgot how to do a safe set, a safe boot on the PS3. You can do it on the PS4 as well, probably the Xbox as well, but you hold down the power button until it beeps, and then you hold it down longer until it beeps, and then you hold it down a third time, and then it goes into safe mode where you can format it, you can like restore to its original settings, and that's what I did. And then it started up fine, booted up fine, no more freezing. I'm like, cool, let me throw a disc in. Well, I literally had to shove a disc into this PS3. It did not want to take it at all. It was like, no thanks, I don't want it. I'm like, all right, is there a disc already in here? No. It was just so dirty and caked with like dust and like cigarette grime and just grossness that I had to push it in. It took, but it wasn't reading it, and it didn't make any like hard drive sound or disk drive sound, like saying like, oh yeah, there's a disk in here, let me read it. So I press a button to extract the CD, and it's like, it's trying to do that. I can hear it doing that, and it's only like giving me like the little tip of the CD back out, so I'm able to snag it and pull it out. I'm like, all right, maybe for some reason, maybe this one doesn't read PS2 games, because that's what I tried first. I'm like, let me just try a PS3 game. Same thing, it's just not reading. So I messaged the guy, I was like, hey, and I messaged him before, I was like, this has been freezing up on me, I'm going to try to fix it. He was like, oh, I didn't realize that. I'm like, have you tested it? And he's like, yeah, but it wasn't doing that for me. So I was able to fix that. I was like, yeah, just so you know, I fixed that. Disk drive is not working properly anymore. What gives? And he's like, oh, I only played digital games on it. So he had the Warriors for PS2 digitally downloaded on it already. I was like, right on. I mean, that sucks because I bought it, for to be able to play PS2 and PS1 games and PS3 games. I was like, if I don't get it to work, do you mind if I just meet up with you tomorrow and get my money back, because it's not going to do me any good? And he stopped responding to me, so I was like, fuck it, whatever. And I almost I went to the store and I saw like his credit card was saved on it, and I wanted to like spend $40 worth just so like he got charged with that. But at the same time, it just like didn't sit well with me. And I talked to my wife, and she's like, don't do that. Like, don't be that person, and don't belittle yourself to what he is. So I didn't, and that's fine. And then an old friend of mine, actually, that I lived out west with for a little bit, he came back to the States, I think, in January or December, and he started working for GameStop, and we finally met up. And he was checking out my game page, and he called me one day, and he's like, hey, man, so I'm at GameStop right now, and this guy brought in a huge game lot of video games that we can't take anymore. Like, GameStop's not buying retro video games. Like, there's a bunch of GameCube, Wii, DS, Xbox 360, Game Boy Color. I'm like, yeah, I want those. I'm like, how much? And he's like, oh, just, throw them an offer. I'm like, well, when can you meet up? Like, you have this in your possession? He's like, I have half of it. I'm like, well, come over to my house tonight and let's talk about it. So we talked, and it's like, how much do you think he wants? And he was like, he just wants to get rid of it and like get something for it. And I was like, well, you tell me. And he's like, probably like 150, $200. And I was like, I'll give you $200 and you keep 50 of it and give him 150. And he's like, sure, that's fine by me. So I made out like a bandit, and I appreciate that hookup from my homie. So many games, probably close to 150 to 200 games, and it's good titles, and they were well kept. Besides like the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games and some like loose DS games, everything's CIB in pretty good condition. I did test Super Mario Sunshine with CIB, and the disc was all scratched up, doesn't work. But beyond that, I mean, everything's pretty pristine. So for $200, almost like $1 a game, maybe $1.50 a game I spent. Totally worth it, and all pretty solid titles, especially the GameCube titles. There was an Animal Crossing, there was a Paper Mario, Super Mario Sunshine, like I said, that doesn't work. Smash Brothers. For Wii, there was Godzilla, which is a pretty rare title. Bunch of Pokemon games. My buddy that hooked me up with it, there was 2 Game Boy Advance SPs. I was like, you can keep those if you want them. He's like, absolutely, I want these. He asked me, and I was like, yeah, like, just take them. Like, you're hooking me up. And he kept 4 Pokemon Game Boy Advance games, which I sort of wanted some of them, but I mean, I got enough already. There was a loose Soul Silver, Pokemon Soul Silver, that I just sold today for $90. So, I mean, I made my money back. My wife and I, the past 4 nights, have, as soon as we get off work, we eat dinner and we're listing video games on eBay. We both have our eBay accounts out, and it's been going well. The more you list, the more eBay really pushes your listings to be sold. So it's nice. I've been selling 5 to 6 games probably every night. So yeah, it's just like, to me, that's sort of like karma, like good karma, that I didn't mess with that guy with the PS3, losing the $40, and I gained a lot from it. So I appreciate it. If my friends listening to this, thank you, man. I appreciate it. We did our giveaway last week, and Nintendo Rose won again, actually. But I wanted to thank all you listeners for entering. We really appreciate it, and we're going to get another giveaway going on here sometime in the near future. Maybe instead of a mystery box. If you want to check out what was in the mystery box, Nintendo Rose 86, I believe, is her IG name. She did an unwrapping, unboxing video. It was like a 10-minute video. It was, Rose, I love you. You're so cute. But you opened up every game. You're like, oh, this is CIB. Oh, this one's CIB. Oh, this is CIB. Oh, and it was so cute. I loved it. So thank you for doing that video. I really appreciate it. And it was fun. You know, Kelly and I were able to get rid of some games that we didn't want anymore and help her out. I'm pretty sure she said out of like the 15 or 20 games that were in the lot, she only owned one of them. So that's great. Great to add to the collection. And then the last game that she picked up was Pac-Man for the Atari, and she's like, I have no idea what this is for. Which shows your age, Rose. But yeah, it's good to give back. Beyond that, let me see. I got all these notes for my guest that's not here. Well, he was going to ask me a question about Precisely, and I know this is only episode 52. I was going to leave it for episode 100. Let me have a sip of my beer real quick. He was going to ask me why the name Precisely, which I don't think I even told Tony this or Kelly this. I might have mentioned it in passing, but I think I was like just trying to keep it a secret, even though it's not like a big secret. But when I got into podcasting and listening to so many podcasts every day, and gaming podcasts especially, which I really don't listen to that many gaming podcasts anymore, just because I don't want my mind tainted. There's a few that I still listen to from time to time. Lit Game Arena is a great one. Rated G for Gamers, they're great podcasts as well. There's these funny guys in Australia, Filthy Casuals. Absolutely love their stuff, but they're like more on the comedy side when it comes to gaming. There's probably a few more. Sacred Symbols. It's a PlayStation podcast. They're probably one of the most popular gaming podcasts that I listen to. But beyond that, I mainly listen to like Joe Rogan or Ooh Spooky, which is like a funny like unsolved mysteries podcast. But back to Precisely. I wanted to name my podcast just a one word that doesn't really mean anything but means a lot. So it goes back to me probably like 14, 15 years old playing this MMO RPG that was called Maple Story. Some of you probably have heard of it. Some of you probably are like, what is this? So this was during the time of WoW and RuneScape. And I played Maple Story, which was a 2D platformer MMORPG where you could be a magician or a ninja or a thief or a warrior. You chose your classes. So my first class was a magician, a mage. I think it was like an ice mage. And I liked it, but I was like, like this game is good. But there was only 4 classes at the time. I'm sure now it's like 20 different classes and subclasses that you can be. And I was just like, there's all these fucking mages. I want to be something unique, something that no one really is, right? So what can I be that no one really is in a game that only has 4 classes? And I'm looking around at, people in like their stores. There's an active like marketplace that you could like set up a market like while you're away from the computer. So when I was at school, I would set up my store to sell rare items, which I'm sure every MMO is like that. This is the only one that I've ever played. And I met this one guy that, when you click on him, when you click on anyone, you see what level they are, what equipment they have, and you see what class they are. And this guy was like level 120, and he was a beginner. He never chose a class. And his name was Precisely. And that resonated with me. And I was like, fuck being a mage. And I started a whole new account, and I became a permanent beginner. And what was cool about a permanent beginner is that people had mad respect for you. They're like, wow, you're actually doing this. Like once you like reach like level 5 or 10, you can choose your own class, become a thief or a mage or a warrior. And I just stayed a permanent beginner. And granted, I think I only got up to level 70 something, maybe like high 60s, but it was so much fun. And then my account got hacked. Not really hacked. I gave a quote unquote friend my login information to level me up while I was in school. And one day, like, he did it for a while. He was leveling me up, and then one day he was like, screw it. I'm gonna take this motherfucker for all he has. And being a free MMORPG, you actually spent money. Like I spent actual currency, not a lot, probably less than $50, maybe $100, but you would buy like these scrolls that you get, and these scrolls were either like 10% or 50% or like 90% chance of leveling up your certain weapons, and each weapon had certain slots. So for beginners had the coolest weapons, and luckily the game designers of this game realized that there were people out there that wanted to be permanent beginners. Very small section of us, like 1%, if that. But there were people. So one of the weapons was a frozen tuna. And I used these 10% chance scrolls on it. And I think I got, out of the 7 slots that you can use scrolls on, I think I got like 6 out of 7 10% scrolls to work, which is insane chance to do that. So I had one of the best frozen tunas in Maple Story at the time, which is really funny. And that was just like one thing that I absolutely loved doing, was like just leveling up these weird items. And then I would put my store up, and I would put these items in the store at ridiculous prices, like billions and billions of dollars. And I remember one time like coming back from school, and like one of my frozen tunas sold, and I was like, fuck, damn it, that was like a good one. It wasn't my best one, but I was like, oh, that was a good one. But like they spent so much money, and like people would farm for money. There was a lot of hackers, and I think that guy Precisely was a hacker too. But it resonated with me that he just had this simple name, Precisely, and that he was such a high level beginner. And that's why I named the podcast Precisely. It has nothing to do with this game that I could care less about now. But it did take up a lot of my lifetime as a kid. I think I played it for, God, probably like 3 or 4 years. Like, I was hooked on it, and I loved it. So that's one of the reasons why I got into gaming, but also another reason why I don't play online gaming that much, or especially PC gaming. I'm just sort of has a bad taste in my mouth, after you spent years on something that you absolutely loved and then it's taken away from you. It's like, well, what are you going to do now? And I think by that time, like, I got my license. And when you get your license, you don't really want to be at your parents' house anymore. And you want to drive around and hang out with friends and do dumb stuff that you do when you're 16, 17 years old. So that's what I did. So it was a learning experience. And as much as it sucked, it was still a great experience. And I remember someone like added me on Instagram. They're like, Beau, like, from Maple Story, Beau? Like, I was in your guild. And I'm like, what? And I totally forgot this guy, but like his first name and stuff, it wasn't the guy that hacked me or anything. But once he told me his username, I was like, whoa, wow, Rick. Like, yeah, I remember you. Like, that's great. Good to see you, man. So it's funny. It's a small world. No matter how big of a world it is a small world. And I'm going to keep this podcast small too, since it's just myself. And I really don't feel like talking all night about nonsense. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast and learned something today. Be on the lookout for the next podcast. Kelly and I have been talking to guests and people to have on. We have a bunch of cool people lined up here soon. And we're going to do a deep dive, I believe, with Paper Mario. The new Paper Mario is coming out July 17th, Origami King. So best believe I'm actually going to buy a game on release date and play the hell out of it. I can't wait. I've been playing Sticker Star and absolutely hating it. Besides that, I've been playing Far Cry 5, which I do love. It's a good game. It's been a while since I played like a first-person shooter, but it's a fun game. It's all about like radical evangelical people that want to kill if you don't like believe what they believe, and they're all poisoned by this like propane gas that like makes them like hallucinate and love the Lord, which is really weird. But yeah, liking that game, slowly playing through it because really this video game lot has taken up my game room, and I'm just trying to get through it and get rid of as much as I can and get it listed as fast as I can to get rid of it. And then I'll go back to gaming. But I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Give us a follow on Instagram if you're not already at Precisely Podcast. You can follow me at Beau's BEAUS _ game room. We do have a website, precisely.live. What's funny, once this guy listens to this, Mr. Game and Brews, he's a huge follower of us. He just started listening to us probably, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and he's like, oh, I started listening to you guys, when you first started, and then stuff happened, and then I had picked it back up just 2 weeks ago, and I'm on episode 18, and I can't wait to, listen to all of it. Can I buy a shirt and a hoodie from you? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like, order it on our website. So he did that. He's like, can you guys sign it for me? I'm like, no, we can't because we don't actually have the shirts and hoodies like at our house. It's a drop ship program. So once they get the order in, they make the shirts, they ship it to you. We don't touch anything. He's like, oh, that's fine. I was like, I'll get all of us to sign a sticker. And he's like, that'd be great. Like, Tony and you would be great. So he doesn't even know that Kelly's on the podcast, which is funny to me. But Kelly signed a sticker anyway. I still got to get Tony to sign a sticker, even though he's not on it as much, but wants to be a guest from time to time. But he's like, I sing along with your wife, singing the beginning of the podcast all the time. I'm like, you're funny, man. Like, just wait until you hear these newer episodes. There's a lot more to learn. So shout out to you, Mr. Game and Brews on Instagram for loving our episodes and buying some merch. So if you guys want to buy merch, yeah, go to precisely.live. But yeah, that's about it. Enjoy your beer. Enjoy the weekend. Have a good night, y'all.